Hi, the Sci-Fi Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain the American science fiction action film called Chaos Walking. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the year 2258, humanity has moved to another planet called New World, which was colonized by a small group of religiously devout settlers. Following an apparent attack by creatures called spackle, they killed off all the women, and all the surviving men are afflicted by noise, which causes all of their thoughts to be projected. The colonists were involved in a bitter war with the native humanoid species referred to as the spackle, a war that ostensibly killed all the female colonists while half the men survived. Todd Hewitt lives with his adoptive fathers, Ben Moore and Killian Boyd, in a city called Prentisstown, populated only by males, is the sole human settlement on New World. Todd has never seen a woman or girl, he only knows what others told him. Other residents include the preacher Aaron, the town's mayor David Prentice, and his son Davy. Prentice has learned to control his noise, making his thoughts difficult to see and hear. Men following Prentisstown's mayor originally aimed to take over New World as revenge for being isolated for their crimes. Todd Hewitt is walking with his dog Man-Chi through the woods. He encounters large worm creatures called crawlers before coming across the local preacher, Aaron, who thinks Todd is weak for trying to hide his noise. Todd then goes into Prentisstown where he lives, and he has an encounter with a young man named Davy. After scaring Davy with his noise, Davy's father, Mayor Prentice, shows up. He commends Todd for his use of noise and thinks he could be of use to him. Up in space, a scout ship is hovering over the planet in an attempt to make contact with the first colony. As they send a shuttle down, it begins burning up as it enters the atmosphere and crashes in the woods near Prentisstown. The only survivor is a young woman named Viola. One day, while Todd is working in the field unwillingly, then he is asked to fix the pump. Suddenly he spots Viola near the shed and thinks she's a thief. He chases after her in the woods and comes across the ship's wreckage as he finds her faster than him. Todd returns to the town and tries to keep quiet, but the other men hear and see his thoughts about the crashed ship. Then Todd directly goes to Mayor Prentice's home and tells him that he has found ship's wreckage and a survivor in the wood. Prentice orders to investigate the crash scene and scavenge some parts of the ship, but find no survivors. Prentice orders his son Davy to find her as he knew the survivor is a girl. While Todd is alone, he meets Viola, the crash's only survivor. He is shocked to see a girl, as he has never seen one before. The men from Prentisstown capture Viola and she is brought to the mayor's home, where she is questioned about the group she came from, which the others believe to be the second wave. Prentice explains to her what the noise is and what has happened on their planet. While he leaves to go speak to the men, Davy is charged with keeping an eye on her but not to speak to her. Davy unwittingly toys with one of Viola's gadgets, which causes it to shoot large holes in the walls, giving Viola a chance to escape. During Viola's escape, she overhears Prentice talking about preventing Viola from contacting her colony's mothership, intercepting their landing, killing them while they're still under cryosleep, and scavenging the ship. Viola hides in Todd's barn and is found by him and his dad's after some of Prentice's men come looking for her. Although Todd wants to keep her safe there, Ben and Killian know it's too risky. They tell him about a place called Far Branch that would be safer for her. Prentice's men return with him to find Viola, but she starts up a motorcycle and escapes. In the chaos, Davy shoots and kills Killian, and Todd chases after Viola on a horse. Prentice and the men arrive at the farm, demanding Viola back as they believe she is a spy, and Ben is forced to join them. Meanwhile, Todd catches up to Viola but ends up falling downhill with the horse, whose leg is broken, and ends up getting put out of its misery. Todd tells Viola about the trip to Far Branch, and although hesitant, she agrees to join him and Man-Chi. Viola tells him about her mission. She reveals to Todd that she is from a large colony ship carrying over 4,000 passengers, and that her parents died during the 64-year-long journey from Earth to New World. Todd reveals he never knew his real parents. When they encounter a spackle, a fierce battle occurs and Todd attempts to kill it in self-defense with a knife, but Viola stops him because it does not appear to be dangerous. Then the defeated spackle left the place. Later, they walk through the woods and arrive at Far Branch. They found that Far Branch is a nice place where cattle and vineyards. Young men and women gather to see as they are outsiders. The two meet their mayor, Hildy Black. When the locals learn that Todd and Viola came from Prentisstown, they are met with scorn. Hildy gives them housing and utilities. Before learning about Viola's mission, she tells her that she can contact the main ship in a place called Haven. Being the largest settlement on New World, Haven was the leading developer of technology and research. They had developed a cure for the noise, and were the last town to be taken over by Prentisstown, to whom they surrendered. On the way Far Branch, Prentice and Priest Aaron have a bitter conversation where Aaron finds that Prentice hides his noise just like the women. Aaron says he knows all the truth about Prentice, then they resume their journey to the Far Branch. Mayor Hildy shows Viola her room and Todd takes a bath where Viola tells Todd that she needs to send a message to her ship. Hildy manages some food for them and shows Viola a way to contact the ship. But Todd doesn't want Viola to leave and asks Viola for a kiss, and she leaves the room angrily. Next scene, Hildy shows Todd another room for rest where an old man sleeping and making too much noise. Hildy says men and women do not sleep together here for making high noise. Todd says, "I do not make much noise during sleep." Later, Todd discovers his mother's diary, but Viola reads it to him because he cannot read. The diary reveals that the women were not killed by the native aliens, but rather by Prentice and the men of Prentisstown. The men could not stand not knowing the thoughts of the women, when they could hear theirs, which drove them crazy. Angered, Todd realizes that everything he had been told was a lie. Prentice and his men arrive in Far Branch, but Hildy and the townspeople refuse to allow them into the town. He sends Ben out to find Todd and get him to give up Viola, but Todd is angry with him for lying. When it appears that Viola has come out willingly, it turns out to just be a projection from Ben's thoughts, having given Todd and Viola a chance to escape. They are chased to the river by Aaron, and they end up swept away by the current. Todd finds Viola safe but is forced to watch as Aaron coldly drowns Man-Chi in the river, further enraging Todd. The next day, Viola and Todd arrive at the ruins of the first colony ship, where Todd is mourning Man-Chi. Viola comforts him. They enter it and try to send a signal to the colony ship, but the antenna is damaged, so Todd attempts to repair it, contact with the other colonists. When Prentice and his men arrive, Todd surrenders himself. As Prentice is holding Ben hostage, Aaron goes inside to kill Viola, but starts to express his great remorse over killing all the women. He begs for death, and Viola uses one of her gadgets to set him on fire. Todd appears, but Prentice shoots Ben. Todd goes to him and, unknown to Prentice, Ben gives him a knife. Todd engages Prentice, but he uses illusions of himself to distract Todd and shoots him. As he is about to kill Todd, Todd uses illusions of his mother and other women, calling Prentice a coward. Viola pushes Prentice off from the cliff ledge to his death. The colony ship appears in the sky, causing Davy and the remaining Prentisstown men to flee, just as Todd passes out from his injuries. Todd wakes up on the colonist ship with Viola, and they get ready to meet the other colonists. Todd's noise makes it obvious he wants to kiss Viola, but she just smiles and continues walking. Chaos Walking is a 2021 American dystopian action film directed by Doug Liman from a screenplay by Patrick Ness and Christopher Ford. It stars Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, Mads Mikkelsen, Damian Beecher, Cynthia Erivo, Nick Jonas and David Oyelowo. It received generally mixed reviews from critics who criticized the film's simplistic plot, uneven pacing, and its lack of character development, although its visual effects and Ridley and Holland's performances received some praise. The film was deemed a box office flop, grossing nearly $25 million worldwide against its $100 million budget, resulting in a write-down for Lionsgate.